You're raving with RWR. Fabulous songwriters from Belgium and beyond, the lowlands, the highlands, and far across the pond. On Instagram and Facebook too, you can follow, like, and share. Please hit subscribe and join the tribe from the comfort of your chair. You're raving with RWR. Hello everybody and good evening. Welcome back to Raving with RWR, episode number 82. Believe it or not, here on my YouTube channel, Songs from the RWR Room, dedicated to singer-songwriters from Belgium and beyond, as you heard there in my amazing theme tune that I wrote recently. Sarah McQuaid is laughing there in the background at the good of that. I'm wearing her t-shirt. Her last album is called If We Dig Any Deeper, It Could Get Dangerous. There you go. That's Sarah will be with us in a small moment. But if it is your first time watching here on the YouTube channel, would you consider hitting that subscribe button for us there, please, down below, and maybe click the notification bell so you won't miss a thing. If you're watching on Facebook, please give the page a like and a follow as well. You can find me on Instagram at the RWR Room, all one word. Tonight's stream brought to us, of course, courtesy as always of the great people of G-Sharp Guitars. They're the world's finest travel electric guitars from Norway via Kansas in America now. Thanks very much to G-Sharp Guitars. If you're watching live, let us know where you're watching from. We've got a few live viewers already. Great to see. Stephen the Good Mojo is there. A nice t-shirt indeed it is. Very cool t-shirt, very cool album. And of course, Chris, indeed. Hello, Chris Link from Germany. Guten Abend. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Am I loud and clear there, guys? I'm getting messages there. There may not be any audio. I hope there's audio. So let us know. It's okay. Yeah. I suppose you can hear me fine. Just double checking that before we go any further. Issues on the last stream. So let me know if you're watching live. If I am loud and clear, please, if you wouldn't mind. Thanks very much. Nice one. Well, look, we'll take a chance and go over to Cornwall in England, and all going to plan. We have the lovely Sarah McQuaid with Sarah McQuaid. Welcome to Raving with RWR.
Thank you, Tony.
How have you been?
I've been good, but I was really good until 2 minutes ago. When
then all that's right.
Suddenly lost you.
Then all hell broke loose.
Then all hell broke loose. But
not
yeah,
to worry.
And thank you for wearing my T-shirt.
That's fine. I said about it. I like your T-shirt. It's a great album, and it's a great T-shirt. If we dig any deeper, when it was 2018, you released this album, was it?
Yeah, that's right. 2018, yeah. So.
A lot has happened since then, huh?
Yes,
little did you know in 2018 what are we going on today?
Lifetime.
Isn't it just indeed? But you didn't let lockdown or Corona hold you back. You're one of the busiest working songwriters, I think, in the world at this stage. You're always doing something, and you're working away even now through these Corona times and
Indeed.
through lockdown. You have a brand new album out, recorded in a beautiful church. Yes,
that's right, just up the road from me in St. Buryan.
St. Buryan's, that's the name of the album too, is it?
The St. Buryan Sessions.
Live in the St. Buryan Sessions, yeah.
And also the singles and the video series. I'm calling the whole project the St. Buryan Sessions.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, we're gonna have a few songs from that tonight. They're absolutely gorgeous, as always, as to be expected from Sarah McQuaid. I'm going to put up your Facebook page there as well if anybody would like to
thank you.
To give you a like. I thought as well, maybe I just let people know, and I have it linked below, that you are on Patreon. If anyone does the Patreon thing, folks, patreon.com. Yeah, this is a wonderful support thing that goes on called patreon.com, where you can kind of subscribe to an artist, and give them a monthly leg up the ladder. So I thought I'd mention that as well, Sarah, while we're talking. So you were we'll go back to sort of the beginning. You were born in Spain, of all places, were you?
Yes, born in Spain, and which is where my father was from. And then when I was 2 years old, my mother took me back to Chicago, which is where she was from. So I grew up in Chicago. That's the window rattling. So
you have storms and windows rattling and everything going on.
Anyway, so then I lived in Chicago, and then we moved to Washington, D.C. when I was 13. And then when I went to university, I moved to Philadelphia and lived there for a bit, and then wound up moving to Ireland. And around about the same time, my parents, my mother and stepfather, moved to Cornwall. So that's how I landed in Cornwall eventually after my mother died. But husband's from and our 2 children were both born in Ireland.
Amazing too, yeah. So you've been all over. It's amazing too.
Yeah.
It's great, and you suppose you drew lots of inspiration from all those places, and you worked on music, of course, all that time, all of the times you lived in all these places. Yeah, that's really great. I'm just saying hello to Dennis Kelleher as well. They're from Norwich.
Oh,
thank you for Dennis for tuning in as well. We've got a great crowd of people from all over. If you want to say hello to Sarah or I, please do. I have to say hello, by the way, Peter and Lenny from Steendam.
Oh,
Sarah.
Peter and Lenny.
Yeah, they wanted to say hi. They couldn't make the live stream. They're going to watch it again later on, but they wanted to send their love and thank you for all the lovely concerts you did. People. Yeah, and to thank you for all the lovely concerts you did up in Steendam all those times. So I have to. What I think of it, I said I'd have to give them a shout out. Lovely people. They moved to Portugal there recently, and yeah. What a lovely venue that was.
Oh, it was a lovely venue, and I'm sad to see it go, but I don't begrudge them their new life in Portugal.
Oh, no.
If there were ever two people who deserved to have a nice, life in the sun and sort of semi-retirement, it's those two. They're just
absolutely
nicest people.
Nicest people. And so we'll give them a shout out tonight. Great. Thanks for doing that. There's a huge amount of books behind you there. You've read every one, I suppose, front to back. You have.
Yeah.
Amazing. And but you were saying as well that recently that you also were lucky enough to receive a little bit of grant money as well there for an arts project. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with that.
The Arts Council of England they have this program which is really great. It's called Developing Your Creative Practice, and what it is if you want to, if you're an artist of any kind, not a musician or actor or writer or whatever, they'll give you money to do kind of an educational project where you're kind of developing your skills. So and they'll also help you get new equipment that helps you to develop your practice, as they say. So they gave me some money to get a proper copy of Sibelius, the music composition software, which I've been wanting for a long time and couldn't afford, and also for some tutoring in composition. And then I got some home recording equipment as well, and some mentoring with very wonderful Martin Stansbury, my longtime manager and sound engineer, who also produced and engineered the St. Buryan sessions. And
a great man.
But he's been helping me to sort of develop my skills in doing some bits and bobs of recording at home that I can then send to him to mix, so I can still keep working on new material and so on, and also just work on. I did a short film score there recently for another musician friend, and just that was what inspired me to do the composition lessons, because I really enjoyed writing the film score and thought I'd love to do more like that. It's really nice just writing music to go with somebody else's imagery.
Of course, you have you obviously read and write music then, or is that part of your background? And it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a huge jump sort of into the unknown for you then. When it came to
it wasn't. Well, I learned to read and write music when I was very small. I think I started learning to read music when I was about 3 or 4. So around about the same time as I was learning to read words, I was learning to read and write musical notes. So, it came. It's very natural for me to write pieces of music out. But I never knew the theory behind it. I never did formal kind of music study past the age of, very young. So I never learned the theory behind what I was doing. And certainly I didn't know anything about it. I'm learning about all the intricacies of writing for different types of instruments, strings and woodwinds. And I had no idea that, when you write, for example, for a clarinet, the music on the page is in a completely different key to the music that is actually sounding. You see,
Well,
it's what's called a transposing instrument. I had no idea. There's all these things to learn.
That's bizarre. Yeah, I didn't know that myself, but it sounds like an amazing. It's a learning curve, of course it is.
Oh, major, yeah.
Oh man, I can imagine. And is there? So what are you working on right now? I mean, obviously is the album done? Is it?
The album is done.
Yeah.
And I'm actually in the middle of writing the liner notes because I just found out if I want to bring it out on vinyl, I've got to get the order placed now to have it ready for October. It's that far in advance. I've got to get all the artwork done and everything kind of this weekend.
Get off the stream and go to get off and go. What are you doing here?
But,
really?
Yeah,
is it that? Okay, so October is the official launch of everything, or just the vinyl?
Of the album, of the vinyl and the CD.
Yeah. Right.
What I want to do, what is it? It's national. Is it International Album Day or something? And there's a theme about women musicians. So I thought, that's
oh, really? On that date?
With that. So that's why that's part of the reason why October, and also because I'm hoping I can actually get out and perform some by then.
Yeah.
And do I want to do ideally I want to do an album launch concert in St. Buryan Church where we did the recording,
Ideally would be
fantastic.
Like
a concert, to benefit the building fund and so on.
Yeah.
But where was I? Yes. So the project has already started in the sense that I've been putting out these videos. Which a couple of which I think you're going to play for us tonight.
Absolutely. I have the first one lined up is Charlie's Gone Home. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. So I thought part of the idea of this was to keep some music coming out and kind of keep people interested, and also have a way of interacting with people kind of in a live way. Such that I could still chat away to them, the way I like to do.
Yeah.
We're doing these online premieres of each of the videos in turn as they come out. And it takes Morgan, the filmmaker, a while to finish each video. So they were never all going to be ready at once anyway. So I've been kind of dribbling them out.
It's a nice way to do it, yeah. That's right. I noticed you do a little you preempt each one with a little bit of talking before as well, to let people know it's a premiere, so they they can be ready for it, and it's a great way to do it.
I've got to do that actually for the premiere next week.
Yeah, so I'm reminding you.
Happening next. Thanks for the reminder, Daddy.
All right, I'll leave a note in the private chat for you. Well, before we'll talk a little bit more so about everything that's going on. But why don't we have the first song? Would you tell us a little bit about Charlie's Gone Home, if you wouldn't mind?
Charlie's Gone Home is one of the first songs I ever wrote. I wrote it back long before I recorded it. Actually, I wrote it back when I was still living in Philadelphia, and I just remember it was a really kind of emotional process writing it. Not that it's a sad or emotional song, just that I was feeling so strongly that just the process of writing it had such a kind of profound effect on me. And I remember sort of crying on my guitar and then having to quick wipe the tears off the guitar so they wouldn't mar the finish.
Yeah.
And and then when I made my very first album, When Two Lovers Meet, back in 1997, when I was still living in Ireland, most of that album was traditional Irish music, but I had written this one song, and I thought, I'll put my one song on it, and so that was the only original on that album. But it's always been kind of a special song to me. And a lot of people had sort of said to me, as soon as I said I was going to do a live album, they said, oh, well, is Charlie's Gone Home going to be on it? Because we think it should. So I said, okay.
Okay, let's put it on. Let's put it on. Wonderful. It's a gorgeous song, and it's from the new sessions course, the St. Buryan Sessions. And it's wonderful, folks. Check it out. We'll be back with Sarah in a couple of minutes. Enjoy this song. See you in a few.
Charlie's gone home now. A drove him downtown and dropped him off at the station. I'm sweeping the floors now, changing the sheets and organizing the kitchen. And the house is so quiet, it feels so strange. Only 1 hour, everything's changed. It seems so empty. I feel so alone. It was a party that lasted a week and a half. We played music together and we drank and we laughed, and now it's over. 'Cause Charlie's gone home. I came here one evening, I wasn't expecting such a happy surprise. With his jokes and his teasing, he had me laughing so hard there were tears in my eyes. And Charlie's got a whole lot of stories to tell. He has an endless supply, and he tells them so well. He's had a wild life. He likes to ramble and to roll. He's been filling my head with the things that he's seen, the scrapes he's got into, and the places he's been. Now they're fading, 'cause Charlie's gone home. When Charlie is with me, my life is on hold. It takes all my time, things get out of control. I should be relieved that I'm finally able to breathe again. Charlie's gone home now. I drove him downtown, dropped him off at the station. I'm sweeping the floors now, changing the sheets and organizing the kitchen. And the house is so quiet, it feels so strange. Only 1 hour, everything's changed. It seems so empty. I feel so alone. It was a party that lasted a week and a half. We played music together and we drank and we laughed. Now it's over, 'cause Charlie's gone home. It's over, 'cause Charlie's gone home. It's over, 'cause Charlie's gone home.
Charlie's gone home. Sarah, that was gorgeous.
Oh, thank
So
you.
One of your many beautiful songs. Can I ask you who Charlie was?
Oh, he didn't exist.
Didn't exist.
There's a composite.
Okay,
Different,
beautiful.
people.
Different
But,
people. But it's beautiful song, and we got to see the beautiful St. Bunrian's Church there as well in that video, which is also a stunning place. Looks like an amazing. Do they have concerts there on a regular basis?
Not on a regular basis, no. I've done a concert there before, and a few other people have as well. But it's not kind of a regular venue for concerts or anything.
I know.
Should be a beautiful place.
Absolutely. A couple of guitar geeks there watching that, and I wanted to ask you too, what sort of guitar? That's the handmade, beautiful guitar that you have, the acoustic.
Oh, thank you. And thanks to the lovely people who are posting nice comments.
Yes, have a good crew here.
And a lovely fellow called Chris said it was a lovely song earlier. So
He
that
did
was really
indeed.
nice.
Chris Link is great.
Yeah, the guitar was custom made for me by a wonderful luthier called Andy Manson. And I had always coveted a guitar by Andy Manson ever since I saw a bouzouki that was made by him when I was living in Ireland. I don't know if you ever ran across a bouzouki player called Brendan O'Regan, and he had a lovely bouzouki.
Yes.
Yeah, that was made by
the same man.
Andy Manson. Yeah, same guy. And I remember saying to Brendan, "Oh, who made your bouzouki? It's gorgeous." And he said, he told me Andy Manson, and I said, "Oh, does he make guitars?" And Brendan said, "Does he make guitars?
Does he ever?"
Indeed. He then went on to tell me all about Andy and how he's made loads of different instruments for John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page, both from Led Zeppelin. And you know, he made, if anybody knows the sort of a classic old Led Zeppelin video where Jimmy Page is playing a 3-necked instrument with like a mandolin neck, a guitar neck, and a 12-string neck. That was made by Andy Manson.
Oh wow! What a claim to fame!
Amazing
stuff.
Amazing people. Yeah.
Amazing
so
stuff.
I'm very lucky to have one of his instruments.
People who come to the show now, of course, expect you to only be a songwriter, but of course, people who may not know you from the early days, you're one of the best dadgad players probably in the world, Sarah, and you've brought out a dadgad book. The Sarah McQuaid dadgad book, and did that all happen in Ireland? Was your love of Irish music did it develop in Ireland, or was it there before you moved over? It did it.
Just to complicate matters, yeah. When I was 18, I went to study in France for a year, and that. Oh, thank you, Stephen. It is a stunning guitar.
It is a stunning guitar.
Yeah, I went to study in France for a year when I was 18, and I started asking around if there was any kind of a band that needed a singer-guitarist, and somebody said, "Oh, there's this Irish band who are looking for somebody," and I had played Irish music at that point, but sure, I'll give it a go, and just wound up really falling in love with the music, and then winding up spending a lot of time in Ireland, and eventually going to live there full time in the early 90s, and
and were you always like a dadgad player at that stage, or did that come later?
Well, it was in France that I discovered dadgad. It was actually a French guitarist who showed it to me. We were playing at a festival in Brittany somewhere, and I was fiddling around with a lot of different open tunings at that point. I was a big Joni Mitchell fan, and I was a fan of all the Wyndham Hill guitarists, Michael Hedges, and all those people. So I was kind of randomly tuning my guitar in different ways and seeing what sounds I could get out of it. Right. And then it was actually this French guy said, he came up to me after a gig and he said, "I see you retuning your guitar and using different tunings and so on. Have you tried dadgad? Because that's what all the people playing your style of music, meaning trad Irish music, that's what all the Irish players are using. They're all using dadgad." And I said, "Oh, I haven't tried that. How does it go?" And he said, "Well, you just do D-A-D, G-A-D," and showed me how to tune the guitar into dadgad. And as soon as I started playing it, I was like,
I know. Where have you been all my life?
Yeah. And it just made all of the sounds that I really wanted to make. I could suddenly make. Yeah. So I've been playing in nothing but dadgad ever since. I play all, and I still haven't finished discovering its possibilities. Every time I write a song, I find a new thing that I can do with it in dadgad.
Right.
I think it's just an amazing tuning.
It's an amazing tuning, but you got deep into it. I mean, when did you bring the book out? The Sarah McQuaid dadgad book.
Well, that book came out before I ever made my first album. The book came out in '95, so that book is for.
Sorry, say it again, Sarah.
Over 25 years now.
What was that last bit you said about the book?
Oh, it's still in print, so it's still selling around the world.
It's amazing.
Music Sales Incorporated, Novello and Company have it. So I don't own the book.
Oh, I see, but
but it's still selling. I still get.
Can people find it from your website, or could maybe they?
I think so. I think I have a link to it on. Yeah, I do. I have a link. I have a link on the music page of my website to get it from Music Sales.
That's a fabulous story. And I mean, most people sort of in the older days especially know you as this amazing dadgad guitarist plus songwriter. But then suddenly I see you playing an electric Ibanez at shows, and
Yeah.
tell us the story about how you went from acoustic to electric. Well, and it's in Dadgad as well, is it? The electric.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all Michael Chapman's fault.
Okay.
I had met the very wonderful Michael Chapman, a brilliant guitarist, who also plays in Dadgad quite a lot. And I was at his house, and he handed me this lovely electric guitar and said, "Here, I want you to hear me. I want to hear you play this."
Yeah.
And I had never played an electric guitar at that point. And I was, truth be told, a little bit of an acoustic guitar snob,
Yes.
I kind of thought, I
too.
have my lovely custom-made acoustic guitar. What need have
What
I
do
of
I-
any other
what-
guitar, let alone
What do I want with it?
electric, heaven forbid.
Yeah.
But when Michael Chapman hands you a guitar and says, "Play this," you play it. So I started. He plugged it into a little amp, and I started playing it, and I suddenly it was kind of a eureka moment. I was like, wow, I can get all these. This is a different animal, really.
Yeah.
This isn't this is not an electrified acoustic guitar. This is a different instrument, and I can do all kinds of things with it that I could never do with an acoustic guitar. So that was really exciting to discover, and really stupid of me not to have, kind of realized that until I actually had it in my hands and was playing it, and then suddenly realized, no, this has things like, I can make things, I can twiddle knobs and do different things.
You can
use pedals and so on. So then he had agreed to produce that album, the 2018 album, If We Dig Any Deeper, It Could Get Dangerous, which you're wearing the t-shirt for. Thank you. And visual aid. And
Visual aid.
And he phoned me up, and at this stage, the kind of playing that guitar was a bit of a distant memory, but he phoned me up and he said, "Listen, do you remember that guitar you played at my house, the electric?" And I said, "Oh, yeah. And he said, "Well, I need your address. I'm going to UPS you that guitar, and I want you to write some songs on it for the new album."
Oh.
So he did, and I did, and I just fell in love with the guitar. And at the end of the recording, I was kind of thinking, well, no, I have to give him back his guitar. And he said, "Well, you know what? I'm not using it at the moment, so you can hang on to it for a while." I don't know if he realized that I was going to hang on to it as long as I have.
As long as you have.
I'm going to have to either, I was going to use a bad expression for having to act, but or else quit procrastinating.
It's like, what guitar? I don't know.
Or get off the pot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to buy the guitar.
You may have to do something, or send them lots of CDs and merch or something. I don't know. I'm going to just pull it up here. The next song is called "The Day of Wrath, That Day," which features the wonderful electric Ibanez. Tell us a little bit about the song itself, if you would.
Yeah, well, this is an instrumental piece, which I wrote. Martin, my sound engineer, he had bought me a delay pedal. It's called a Yellow Fall delay pedal for the electric, because he thought I could do something interesting with it. So I was noodling around with the delay pedal, and I started writing this instrumental piece, and it was turning into kind of an apocalyptic kind of a piece. I felt like it was kind of building up to something dramatic, and I thought, what am I going to call this piece? And I had recorded a Gregorian chant as well on that album called Dies Irae.
Yeah,
and the first line of Dies Irae is Dies Irae, Dies Illa. And what that means is the day of wrath, that day. So that's the title of this piece.
That's gorgeous. Chris is just commenting, or Stephen says, "Don't worry," as well. It says, "It took Bob Dylan a while too before he played electric guitar." Yeah, the traitor.
And hopefully nobody will throw vegetables at me for doing it.
No, hopefully not. And yeah, he says not many people use alternative tuning. Yeah, he's nothing against that guy. Good on Chris. I don't either know. Chris is a guitarist too. He knows. But I love this piece, Sarah. We're going to give it a spin. Well, we'll give it a spin. It's a beautiful piece called "The Day of Wrath, That Day." It's from the St. Buryan Sessions, folks, from Sarah's brand new album. Please check it out. And just again, I always say it, Sarah. Just these videos sometimes get a bit squashed, folks, going through the internet channels. So don't judge the sound of them too harshly. Please go onto Sarah's YouTube channel and check them out individually, because it'll give you a much better sound. But anyway, a sample of it right now. Here we go. It's a beautiful piece. Yes, gorgeous stuff. Wow, wow, wow. Look, if your friend has any more of those guitars left over and he wants to send me one, he's free to do so. That's a gorgeous guitar. Not a huge electric player myself, but gorgeous track. Did you have some? You had an octaver or some kind of stuff going on the under layer of that?
Just the delay effect.
Just the delay effect.
Every note I played got repeated a few times. So dum dum.
Yeah, so effective.
So I kind of built the piece around the concept of those repeating notes. So that
it really did work. Super.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, gorgeous. So I'm not surprised you don't want to give that Ibanez back just yet.
No.
No. Yeah, and you don't always hear electrics being played in DADGAD tuning either. I certainly don't, but it's a great effect. Do you ever go back to standard tuning, or are you very much locked into DADGAD these days?
Totally. I've been playing in DADGAD for well over 20 years now, so I wouldn't, or actually more like 30 years, so I wouldn't remember how to play in standard tuning anymore.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing too. So you reckon October, you were saying about the new album, Sarah?
Yeah.
Just remind us again, anybody who's just joined us live, October. You have an exact date, or
releasing? Yeah, I think the 15th of October, if memory serves, was whatever the nearest Friday is to the 15th of October. I think would be the release date. It's but in the meantime, as I say, if people tune into my YouTube channel, they can keep watching these video premieres, and I'm also releasing all the tracks as singles. They're all going out on Bandcamp and Spotify and so on as singles. I've been tending to put them on Bandcamp just as pay what you want, which seems to be working pretty well. You know, people tend to pay way more than I would have charged.
Well, it's a great way to support them.
Yeah,
it is. To give them a choice, and of course. Much more beneficial to you, of course, as an artist than Spotify. You're better off getting £1, €1 for a track, aren't you, than thousands plays on Spotify in some ways.
Well, no, the plays on Spotify all count for something too, and the thing is, you know, I'm not one of these. You know, I appreciate what people are saying, you know, who are really getting tons of plays on Spotify and not being paid adequately. And that's a real grievance, all right. But for all that, it's a handy old platform for people discovering music by the likes of me, you know.
Indeed, it is. Yeah.
So it's you know, it is. I think it is a good thing generally. It's just it would be nice if they had a more equitable system so that, you know, people who are big names and who still nonetheless, you know, need to earn money from what they do, especially when they can't go out and do live huge arena shows and pay all their crew and everything like that. They do deserve to be getting more money.
Oh, of course. As you said, it has its pros as well as cons. For certain things, absolutely does. Great way to get heard and get known for smaller artists. Were you ever signed before? Like, did you, in Ireland or anywhere else, did you go down the record label route at any stage in your career, Sarah, or was it all independent?
I started to at one point, back when I recorded my first album, I quite a major label were interested in me, but what put me right off is that they were more interested in my original song. It's funny because I wound up abandoning trad music, and they were dead right, really. They said, if you bring out this album that you've made, which is mostly trad stuff in one of your songs, people are forever and ever more going to think of you as a trad artist. They're not going to think of you as a songwriter. And we think you're a really good songwriter, and we think you have loads more albums of songs in you. So what we want to do is buy that album off you and have you not release it and put you into development. And put you on a retainer. We'll give you money. You won't
starve.
To live on. You won't starve. And you go off and you write songs, and you write us an album of original songs, and we'll put it out. Wonderful. And for better or worse, I said, no way.
No, I'm a trad artist. Leave me alone.
I want to put it out. I don't care about all this money you're offering, you know. I mean, any money they were offering was going to have to be paid back anyway. So it's not like,
of course,
that is the deal. An advance is an advance. And development money has to be paid back too.
Of course.
You know, I could have gone
forget about sometimes.
I could have gone into what they call development hell and then wound up having to, you know, buy myself out of a contract at some stage. So I think I probably did do the right thing long term, but also in hindsight, they were absolutely right, because I did wind up wanting to go off and write songs. And then I still get people, the last 3 albums I've made have been all original songs, and I still get people going, oh, well, you know, our venue really books songwriters and you're not a songwriter. So
really? Yeah, they just, she's a dad traditional Irish singer. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did exactly the thing happened that the record company warned me was going to happen. I did.
Yeah, you got labeled before.
Typecast. So you can't blame them. They were right. But you know, if I hadn't gone through the process I did, I maybe wouldn't be where I am now.
Of course.
And I'm happy musically with where I am now. Not so happy financially.
Yes, of course. That's the trade-off, isn't it?
There's always hope.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing a high level of art, and then the money drops.
And if I do wind up making some money out of it, eventually it'll be going to me and not to a
but this
company.
is it. Yeah, so that's the upside of being independent, of course.
Yeah,
is that it comes back to you. What draws you? You've done a fair few cover versions as well in your life. I know you were saying before, I think you always try to, was it you just said to me you try to record at least one cover on every album?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and why is that? And really, also and the other question, part of it is what draws you picking and recording a cover version?
Well, yeah, I think it's really important if you're writing songs to occasionally try and get your head around somebody else's song and see what you can bring to it that's new and different. And so that is part of my criterion for choosing a song to cover is, can I bring something new to this song? Can I make it my own in some sense, but can I also stay true to the spirit of the original and not be messing about with it? Because I don't want to mess about with other people's songs either. I don't want anybody else ever to hear a version of their song that I recorded and go, that's not what I wrote, So yeah, you've got to stay true to it, but you've also got to bring something new to it. And so that's what I always try to do. So I recorded a cover of Ode to Billy Joe. On my second album, I recorded a cover of John Martin's Solid Air. On the third album. On the fourth album, I recorded The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Ewan McCall. Yeah. And then on If We Dig Any Deeper, It Could Get Dangerous, I recorded a cover of Forever Autumn by Jeff Wayne, which he wrote with Gary Osborne and Paul Weigras. So yeah, I do always like to, and I've got a couple of covers coming up in this St. Varian Session series, but I don't want to say what they are just yet.
Correct.
They're new ones. They're ones I have not recorded on any album. Most of the songs in the series, all of my original songs that are on the St. Varian Sessions album and series are all songs that I've previously recorded, but there's 2 covers that I have not previously recorded. So there'll be 2 covers on this album. So will it be a slightly longer album than say 10 or 12 much
songs?
Longer.
It will.
It's going to be a double LP, which is going to be really expensive.
Oh my, wow.
But I want to do it.
Buy it, everybody, quick. That's expensive. Yeah, but of course you have to do with that.
Yeah. I just, we're going to do a limited edition of 300. So we'll make 300 double LPs, and after that there's no more. And I'll probably throw in a bunch of bonuses with it, artwork and things like that, just to make it a bit special. But I really did want to, and hopefully I can sell 300 copies of it, which I'll basically need to.
Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, well, hopefully, after this famous live stream now, anything's possible.
But
you should sell 3 from this live stream anyway.
But yeah, so it's a full concert basically. It's 72 minutes is the complete running length of the full album.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so that'll be a great concert. Very much looking forward to it. Your website, folks, Sarah's website, the sarahmcquaid.com.
So everything is linked from there, of course. Sarah, you'll keep everybody up to speed between here and between that and the Facebook page, of course, to let people know, because you know when the next video will be out, the video release date for
the next single is coming out this coming Friday, the 2nd of April, and then the video goes live on Saturday, the 3rd of April.
Lovely.
So, and all the details are on the website and on my YouTube page.
Yeah,
and
look forward
Facebook
to
and
that.
Twitter and Instagram and all that.
Anywhere to follow you, to find you. Yeah. Fantastic. You took me by surprise with this next song because I knew you as a guitarist for years and years and years, and suddenly you pulled out a piano, big out of your pocket. And I went, "What is this? Are you serious?" And I thought you were just sitting there going to sing something a cappella, and then you did this, which is fantastic. Tell us about the silence above us, please.
Yeah, I played it on a keyboard on the album. If we dig any deeper, it could get dangerous. But for the St. Buryan sessions, I had access to this beautiful grand piano, which actually it lives in the church, but it's owned by the St. Buryan Male Voice Choir. They were given it in a bequest. So I had to get their permission to use it, and I was very glad that they gave me permission to use it for the recording, because it's just a lovely, great, big, huge Yamaha grand, and it sounds gorgeous. And I hope the sound of it comes through okay. I know it does on the YouTube video, so
it does indeed. That's where people will go back to these. Hopefully, go back and check out these videos properly on Sarah's YouTube channel, folks. Sometimes they're fine on this stream, but not always. But what's the story behind this great song?
The song came out of it was January, and I was standing outside and shivering and looking up at the sky and the stars and just kind of thinking about the big questions. I don't know. I studied philosophy at university, and I'm always thinking about the big kind of why are we here? What are we doing? The universe, the Earth, the planets,
the deeper meaning of stuff.
So it's just about that moment. It was just kind of an effort to kind of capture that moment in time, standing outside, shivering in the cold, watching my frozen breath go out in front of me in the air, and looking up at the sky and just asking questions of the sky, if you like.
Absolutely, that's beautiful. We'll give it a play. Let's hear this great song, folks, from Sarah McQuaid, "The Silence Above Us." We'll see you in a few minutes for more great chat with the great Sarah McQuaid.
The silence above us, the comfort in darkness, pale clouds in a blanket of sky. The light from my window, the trees lost in shadow, we'll likely have frost later on tonight. It's cold, I should go back inside, where I know that it's warm if I sit near the fire. And as I stand shivering, the mist from my breathing forms tendrils of smoke that drift lower and higher. Orion, the hunter, is low in the sky. The guiding star is blue. I ask myself yet again, what is this world coming to? The silence above us, the green earth beneath us, abounding with power and life. The bushes are rustling, the small birds are settling, hunkering down to be safe for the night. Orion, the hunter, is low in the sky. The guiding star is blue. I ask myself yet again, what is this world coming to? As the night becomes colder and darker, more stars will appear in the sky. Tiny pinpoints of light, shining steady and bright. The silence above us, the comfort in darkness, pale clouds in a blanket of sky. The light from my window, the trees lost in shadow, we'll likely have frost later on tonight. Orion the hunter is low in the sky, the guiding stars blue. I ask myself yet again, what is this world coming to? And what can we do?
Silence above us. And Martin Williams just dropped in there.
Oh,
Hello, Martin. Our dear
Hello to
friend Martin and
Karen.
Karen. Indeed. Hi, folks. we know Martin and Karen very well. Nice to see
We
you
do.
dropping in there, Martin. That's a beautiful song as well, Sarah. Geez, you have
Oh, thank
you've such
you.
an arsenal of great work. It's yeah. I think if you keep doing it, you could be really good, Sarah. I really
Keep at
if you
it.
stay at it for another 30 years, I'm sure. I have
do
all
intend
confidence in
to.
you. Me too. Oh Lord, yeah, it's been a long road for all of us, but yeah, it's you've stuck to your guns, and you know you did it your way, as the song goes. Through thick and thin, hard times and good times, and of course these times are challenging for all artists. So if you would like to support Sarah, folks, please do it through the Patreon, do it on the .com. You know, watch the video, share her videos. That all helps. You were you in mid-flight when this first lockdown happened? So you were on tour, were you?
I was
Somewhere.
on tour. Yeah, I was in Berlin. Well, I mean, I was on tour. We went off. I guess it was the end of February. We went off. We were 2 weeks into what was supposed to be a 6-week Netherlands and Germany tour when we had to cut it short. I mean, they were starting. It's funny because we set off on tour, and you know, hindsight is wonderful. You know, I kind of, what were we at? So going off but at the time, all it was just a kind of a rumor of a virus, you know, in some other part of the world, you know.
That's
and
right.
then,
Yeah.
It was the first gig of the tour. I was doing a house concert in the Netherlands, and somebody came up and said that they just heard that the venue, what was supposed to be the final gig of the tour, that venue had just had to close down because there'd been a case of COVID in the town. And I thought, ooh, that's not good.
That's not good.
And then every night we were hearing more and more and more, and things were closing. And it was like all the shutters kind of coming down, you know.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah,
and by the time we got to the Berlin gig, it was just clear that we weren't going to be able to continue the tour. And in fact, we had better just rearrange our ferry tickets and hightail it home before all the borders closed.
You were lucky you got out then.
So we did. We got out just in the nick of time. I mean, I think they closed the borders the day after we left. So we could have been stuck. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And yeah, made a dash for home, and kind of thinking, oh right, and it's amazing to me. I was still at that point thinking there was a chance. I had a UK and Ireland tour booked for April and May then. I mean, it was basically supposed to be 4 months.
I remember you saying that,
touring, and I had a UK and Ireland tour booked for April and May, and I thought, oh, maybe that can go ahead. And then that got cancelled.
And then that got
pulled, And then after that got cancelled.
Something else.
I've actually just finished cancelling. I had gigs booked for this April and May, which are still up on my website, but they shouldn't. I've got to fix that. They've all been either cancelled outright or rescheduled.
That must have really worried you greatly as a touring full-time musician.
Well,
when you do nothing, you've done nothing else in your life, and that's your job and your livelihood. And it must have been a scary time. It's still a scary time. Okay, there's a little bit of light in the tunnel now. But what was going through your mind the last year? I mean, I know you buried yourself in work, and you kept going. You did stuff that a lot of musicians kind of pull back away from the whole scene, me included. But I think we focus on other things. But that's what you did for sanity, was it? To just put the head into other stuff.
I took the opportunity to do a lot of things I'd been wanting to do for a long time and hadn't had time or energy to do. And people were incredibly kind. People and organizations were incredibly kind. I mean, the St. Buryan sessions, all of that recording and filming was crowdfunded. And I set up a crowd. I had never crowdfunded anything before. I'd always believed strongly in kind of funding my albums with pre-sale. I'd pre-sell the album, all right, but people are, selling tangible objects rather than actually asking people to just give me money. But obviously when coronavirus hit and my income was all wiped out, it was clear that was I had to change my approach. And I was just blown away by how generous people were and how kind people were and how eager they were to help. And I mean, as soon as I set up the crowdfunder, we actually exceeded the goal fairly sharpish, And
it's
people
amazing
were just
isn't it?
Lovely, and then on foot of that, I wound up doing the Patreon thing as well, just to get a little bit more income coming in.
The power of
I managed without it, to be honest.
The power of fans and friends is stunning in this business, and how they rally behind us when in our hour of need, And of course, the artist is the last man and woman to get, they always get overlooked, when governments are looking after people. It's the art, it's the music industry, isn't it? That always gets hit. Because you think about the sound. I'll tell you. No, I won't. But when you think about the sound engineers and the lighting guys and the touring guys as well, it's not just musicians. The whole industry hit so hard.
Far worse for people in the industry. In fact, much worse, because people kind of rallied around the artists. The artists are kind of the public face of it. Everybody wanted to help out the artists. Yeah. But who wants to help out, the crew and the bartenders and the venue staff and the background. All of the people. There's so many people who make the music happen, and they're not the public faces, and they suffered worse. A lot of them suffered worse than artists because they found it more difficult to access the government support that was there, especially here in England. They made this silly rule that if you earned more than 50, if self-employment was less than 50% of your income, they wouldn't give you any support. Now, I was fine because it was self-employment has always been 100% of my income, so that was fine. I was getting support. But Martin, for example, my sound engineer, because along with working with me, he had, like many sound engineers and crew, had worked short-term pay-as-you-earn contracts with theaters. He would go and work for a theater on a month-long run of a show while I was off the road. Yeah. And obviously that's not paying anymore. but that disqualified him for getting any support as a
How
self-employed
ridiculous.
person. So he said he couldn't get any support at all. But he really suffered much worse than I did.
Yeah, of course. I'm lucky too. There are people far worse off, you know, in the game, and it's not easy for them. And I always, my heart goes out, of course, not only to the artists, but to the, as you're saying, it's the crew, it's the engineers, it's the lighting technicians, it's even the bar staff, it's the theaters and the venues that we work in. It is a shame. Listen, we want to say hello to Karen Prunk. The wonderful Karen. Karen, thanks for tuning in. Lovely to see you too, Karen. Thank you very much. Linda Cullen is late, but it's okay. She's from Germany there. She's a huge fan of Sarah's.
Oh, hello.
So we're saying hi to you. Thanks very much, Linda, for jumping in. It's lovely to see you. Chris knows someone in the industry as well, you know, lives in his van now, does he, Chris? Wow, it's so sad to see. It's so sad to see. Before we go, I wanted to ask you a little bit, I want to go back to Ireland for a second, Sarah, before we finish off. And I've kept you long enough, but we did have a bit of a false start, but we'll edit that out and put this up at a later time. It's great. No, I'm glad it worked out. But yeah, it must have been, what was it like as an artist? I mean, in the 90s was a great time in Ireland. You were in Dublin, were you?
I was in Dublin. It was a great time.
How many years did you spend in Dublin, and what did you get out of that era?
I lived in Dublin from 1995 until 2003. So I was in Dublin for 8 years. Yeah. And it was a great time to be there. There was a huge scene of singers and songwriters kind of coalesced around a guy. There's a guy called Dave Murphy. Dave Murphy was the kind of guru of the singer-songwriters.
I remember Dave from
the International. These Wednesday nights at the International Bar, and everybody would be there. And it's funny because all these people have all become, well, all except me, become big names since, you know. I mean, Declan O'Rourke, Gemma Hayes, Mundy, Paddy Casey.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know, all these, Damien Dempsey, you know, all the heads. You know? All the heads
are true. But yeah. You are a big name, Sarah. You just don't know it yourself. Believe me, you are. Yeah, believe me, you are.
But we'd all be there singing our songs for Dave on a Wednesday night, and then there used to be an afternoon session in Whelan's as well, which is where I met my husband actually.
Oh wow! Was it?
My husband used to come along to those sessions in Whelan's and sit and listen, and I got talking to him eventually, and we eventually got married.
Give you the wink. How are you, Sarah? Yeah.
So I owe Dublin a lot, and Dave Murphy.
And Dave Murphy. I did a few of those already, the international. They were amazing. It was an amazing time. More in the 90s, of course. I was gone by 2000 over to Belgium, but I remember hitchhiking, you know, from the Midlands, or trying to get a train up to Dublin, nowhere to stay, up just to do Dave Murphy's thing, and maybe a Monday at the Bagot Inn or something like that, and stay a couple of nights, and, you know, kind of crash on couches just to be part of that wonderful thing that Dave Murphy ran. But yeah, they were amazing days. Dublin was very, very vibrant, full of singer-songwriters back then. Indeed. She doesn't know how respected and brilliant she is, says Linda. Never a truer word said, young Cullen. So there you go. You're a bigger name than maybe you think or believe, Sarah. A lot of singer-songwriters and musicians know you very well. And we love what you do. We wish you all the very, very best with everything else you're going to do. Keep up the great work. When the dust settles, I'll come over to Cornwall and bring me a tent, and I go walking, and I have a dadgad lesson from you. That would be that'll be icing on the cake. Tell us a little bit about this last song that we're going to play. It's just again with the Irish connection. I think this was recorded in
Ireland, in Limerick.
Ireland, was it? Limerick even.
Yeah.
Live at the Granary. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's the Granary. It's the Granary Library. That's what it's called.
Is it the Break Me Down? Yeah, Break Me Down. Yes, the Granary.
Yeah, but it's the Granary Library. It was recorded. There's a lovely library in Limerick that was hosting a wonderful concert series. Really nice spot for a concert. You wouldn't think a library, although I do play in a lot of libraries over in the States. But yeah, they had a lovely little stage there set up for me. You can see it there.
It's beautiful.
And that was I think that was the last time I was in Ireland. Yeah, because it was March.
Yes, I think it was
2019,
just before
and
you
I
had
was
to
supposed
turn
to go
around.
back there in March, in April of 2020, and then that didn't happen. I was supposed to go back there this April. It didn't happen, but I'm hoping to get back there again next April.
I hope so too.
It was a lovely gig.
Yeah, and you're breaking out the Ibanez here and a little drum in this song as well.
That's right.
You want to say anything about the song before we?
Yeah, it's called
"Break
Me Down." It's a song about. I'm a great believer in being earth friendly and composting and recycling and everything like that.
Great.
So I thought it would be really nice if after I die I could be composted. So, so I thought, what better thing to write a song about?
Absolutely.
Death, decay, and decomposition. So
absolutely. Well,
it's called Break Me Down.
It's called Break It Down. Well, thank you so very, very much, Sarah, for your time, your energy, and your talent tonight. I hope that window that's flapping in the back with the plastic on it stays in tonight. You've got a bit of storm force going on there in Cornwall, but hopefully the window stays put tonight, and that you'll have a safe and peaceful night over there. Thank you so very, very much for being here and for your songs and your stories tonight, Sarah.
Thank you, Dai. It's been lovely to be on the program. Thanks so much for having me. It's really lovely chatting to you, and you'll have to come visit someday.
Absolutely will. We might have a quick word backstage after I say goodbye. Take care of yourself, Sarah, and thanks a million.
Great stuff.
The wonderful Sarah McQuaid, folks. Absolutely lovely person, absolutely lovely songs and songwriter. Don't forget to check out all of her links there. The .com is there, her Facebook page, check that out. And if you'd like to support her further, check out her Patreon as well. Everything, of course, will be linked on her website, sarahmcquaid.com. Check out all of her videos that we played tonight and more on her YouTube channel. And of course, try to get her album when it's out in October. Check it out on Spotify and all the usual places. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Thank you so very, very much for being here tonight. I'll be back again on Wednesday with the wonderful Roy Galen. He's from the Tannahill Weavers. Great singer and songwriter. He lives in the Netherlands now. And so I'm looking forward to talking to Roy as well on Wednesday. Here is a wonderful song from Sarah, and it's called Break Me Down. Check it out. Thanks again, Sarah. See you all next time on the next Raving with Arua. Take care of yourselves.
You can keep your open coffin, you can keep your funeral urn. Don't let it start bubbling, I don't want my body burned. Don't want to wind up like a pharaoh, mummified in a museum. Don't want to be a prisoner in some marble mausoleum. Let me return to the earth when I end my days. Want the sweetest flowers growing over my grave. Let me crumble dust to dust underground. Break me down. If my organs are few, self-defined and belong, but when that heavy makeup won't need it where I'm going. When I die, just dig me under, let my bones enrich the soil. Got some pride, getting matter on me, shame to let it spoil. Let me return to the earth when I end my days. Want the sweetest flowers growing over my grave. Let me crumble dust to dust underground. Break me down. Break me down till I am nothing. Break me down till I am one with the good earth, bringing better growth in time to come. Keep your open coffin, you can keep your funeral urn. Don't want any stone above me, I don't want my body burned. Don't want to wind up like a pharaoh, mummified in a museum. I don't want to be a prisoner in some marble mausoleum.